Stranger Things. Hello. I like D&D and storytelling, and when Stranger Things first came out, I thought that was neat. Now here we are, about a decade later, and oof. Spoiler warning for season 5. In the penultimate episode of the show, to stop the devastating harm Vecna could do by outing William in the middle of a heist, Will Byers came out to most other characters in the show, all at once. While several people are critiquing the horrible writing and confusing plot holes of this season, I want to talk about something that really matters. How safe is it to come out to each of the other characters in Stranger Things? I rewatched Will's coming out scene 5 times, and we're going to rank each character in the room, going around in a circle, of how good an idea it is for Will to come out to them. The year is 1987 in the small town of Hawkins, Indiana. Starting with Will. That's right. How is Will taking this news? Pretty good. He's making some brave first steps, but I'm not sure Will has fully found and accepted himself. Not nearly as much as Robin has. In fact, Will hasn't even called himself gay at any point. He just said he doesn't like girls. Is it possible he's on an asexual spectrum? Maybe, though it's unlikely. I just think he's not fully there yet. So, good, brave first steps, Will, but you have some ways to go. He gets an A. Next up, sitting beside Will, we have Joyce Byers, his mom. Also Jonathan's mom. If you forgot that, that's okay. I think she did too. Obviously, Joyce is proven as an ally and a good mom. She loves her son and will do anything to protect him. She may be a little overzealous and kind of cringe, possibly out him in some situations where he's not ready or embarrass him, but she's got the spirit of it. We're giving Joyce an S tier. Next, we have Mike Wheeler, who Will has had a crush on for several seasons. Mike has been aware of this, though he's never reciprocated those feelings. Byler shippers, I get wanting more representation, but it was never going to happen here. While Mike has known about Will in some capacity for some time, he's weaponized it against Will, saying, "It's not my fault you don't like girls." Ooh. And even though Will is Mike's best friend, I don't know how Mike is going to take this. I'm certain in the short term he will principally say he supports his friends and stand by them. But will he hold true to that? He's not historically been a good boyfriend to Elle. He's sort of emotionally neglectful, even if he thinks he likes people in principle. He will not reject Will for his sexuality, but I think Mike will find some way to make this about him and his feelings and his discomfort, and Will end up apologizing to him. I'm glad Byler didn't happen. That would not be a healthy or balanced relationship. Despite Will calling Mike the heart of the party, I've never seen any textual support for that, and I think that speaks more to Will's bias in how he likes Mike, rather than any trait of Mike himself. Mike is more like Stan Marsh in South Park. He casually thinks he's the main character, but hasn't really earned it. He's not really that good a person. Mike will come around, but he's not a good emotional support person. Mike gets a C. Next up, we got Lucas. If this were set today, Lucas would definitely fall down the podcast manosphere pipeline. He almost had a similar sort of moment in season 4 when he first became an actual aged character in his own right, trying to get in with the jocks and the popular kids. Luckily, he overcame that. I do think he would stand up for Will and fight anyone who was mean to him. But I'm not sure he would do that necessarily out of a principal acceptance of gay people, as much as protecting his friend. He may speak up to a lesser extent for other LGBT people, but more so because he sees his friend Will in them. It feels more personal. But Lucas is on the right track. Lucas gets an A-. Dustin, originally the more charismatic of the boys, turned the only awkward nerd left. Dustin has always had a big heart and would absolutely support his friends no matter what, even if they're outcasts. As Dustin has grown, he's taken a lot of inspiration from Steve on his redemption arc, learning to genuinely care about others, no matter what people think, and from Eddie, who have the highest emotional intelligence in the entire show. But neither of those are the real reason I know Dustin is a solid ally. Dustin has a single mom who's kooky but very sweet, and she has a Mondale Ferrero sign in their front yard. Canonically, she is a liberal progressive in the height of the Reagan era. Against all odds, you can definitely trust Dustin and his family. They are legit. Next up, we have Robin. Ally, she is herself lesbian. Awesome. Same. She has already made herself a great emotional support person who understands what it's like to be LGBT and provides space and time for that. However, Robin is not out publicly. It's dangerous, and she knows herself and what she's doing. She even still makes jokes about Steve when others are around to have an alibi. To some extent, she might resent Will a little bit for using her anecdote about a girl she liked in front of everyone. No one else will understand what that means. And if they do, that puts Robin in danger, and she may want to distance herself a little bit. Still, Robin gets an S tier, and it was wrong of Will to do that. Next, we have the one and only Steve the Hare Harrington, biggest ally in the room by far, though no one would believe that. No one would think that. He was the guy who peaked in high school. His whole personality was built as the embodiment of what is normal and cool. Most people in the room reasonably assume he's probably homophobic and might be a little scared for Will. Luckily, Will knows Steve is cool, thanks to Robin. Over the show, Steve has undergone a total transformation and will stand up for others and being yourself, no matter what anyone else thinks. Steve is solid, S tier. Then we have Jonathan, Will's older brother. Remember him? He used to be a character. Now he's at least a supportive brother. Jonathan has already accepted Will, even before Will came out in season 4. Good for him. Jonathan will, of course, love his brother no matter what and support him no matter what, and might be a better person to talk to about some insecurities than their mom would be. It's a good sibling relationship. Jonathan gets an S. Now, you may be wondering around now, where is Vickie, Robin's girlfriend? They might want a little space between them, use Steve as a buffer so no one knows they're girlfriends, but why aren't they by each other? That is because Murray walked into the room and awkwardly positioned himself between Vickie and Robin. I assume he came in later and had no idea what's going on, did not know any of the context. And this is just very funny to me. Just one older man just standing amidst all the teenagers and not having a clue why that's awkward. During the close-ups of the other characters reacting to Will coming out, 2 did not get a close-up, one of which is Murray. Now, if you encounter someone like Murray today, they might identify as any kind of fringe political ideology, perhaps a hard leftist or something, but this is the 80s. Murray is a libertarian verging on anarcho-capitalist. He hates communism in all its forms. He hates big government. And he is a conspiracy theorist. Murray does not show a positive or sympathetic reaction during this whole scene, and I think there's a reason we didn't see his face. Murray is a certified homophobe. F tier. Who's the other character who didn't get a close-up, you might be wondering? Well, it's the person seated right in front of Murray. This one's gonna be tough. Nancy Wheeler. Nancy Wheeler is the most dangerous person in this room by a country mile. You might not have caught this, but the Wheelers are actually registered Republicans. That's right, they voted for Reagan. Nancy Wheeler has always been the good girl following the rules and succeeding in the system as it's laid out. And even when she experienced sexism in the newspaper, she saw that as a personal obstacle to overcome and never translated that into any broader feminism that we've seen. Also, she really, really loves guns and has channeled a lot of probably pent-up rage and anger after being a teacher's pet into being a crack shot. I am scared of Nancy Wheeler. She is dangerous. We not once saw her zoomed in face, and she does not seem very pleased. Nancy Wheeler is a Republican, and she does not think highly of Will in this moment. She also really does not think highly of Robin. Despite being paired with Robin through season 4, it took them a long time to get close, and she fundamentally opposes and distances herself from that type of person. She came around eventually, but I still don't think she's accepting. Nancy Wheeler gets an F. We're lucky Mr. Wheeler is out of the picture. If he knew this, Will Byers would be banned from coming over to their house. Next up, we have Vickie. Super sweet, bisexual, icon. We love Vickie. Vickie's gonna get an S. I don't think she really knows Will, so it's probably kind of awkward that she's there, but she'll be sweet about it. It'll just be awkward. Next, we have the queen herself, Max. Max is awesome, super cool, super legit. Rest in peace, Max. Wish you were real. You would have loved considering testosterone in your late teens or 20s. Max might say some of the wrong things. She's rough around the edges. But when it comes down to it, I think she has a rock solid support of anyone she cares about. And anyone who messes with any of her friends, she will take care of. She'll be prickly about it, but a strong ally. Max gets an A. Next up, we would have 11, right? That's about everyone in the room. Wrong. Actually, there's someone in this shot specifically behind 11, lurking outside of the main circle. Who is that? I zoomed in and replayed the video several times. That is Kali. She is in the room. It is incredibly awkward. I don't know what she's doing there. She doesn't know what she's doing there. She was not here for this. She has no idea who Will is. She has her own stuff going on. She didn't even really help any of the pregnant women or make a plan to do that from her own quest. So we're not working with a lot of empathy or sympathy here. Kali has a background being sort of a runaway and a punk. She has diverse connections. She's probably cool with the concept of being gay, but this is just someone you don't really invite to your coming out party. She wasn't invited. She just happened to be there. So Kali's going to get a very cold and weird B. And finally, we have 11. 11 is a weird character. I don't want to totally just blame the actress this season for the awkward performance or some of the work she's had done. Being a child actor growing up is rough, especially if you're a woman in that lens of Hollywood and the world and the peer pressures you face to do certain things. Considering some of the other crash outs we've seen overall, I think Millie Bobby Brown is in the top 20%. That said, there are some awkward problems, and I don't think it's just her fault. In the show, 11 was conceived as a human ET. She was weird, did not talk much, did not know how to talk, or else she'd tell them the whole plot. She had a shaved head and wore a medical gown. Then she lived in the woods with Hopper for a year and steadily reconnected with society. By season 3, it seemed like she was on track to becoming a normal teenage girl, and the story could move in new directions. But I don't know if the showrunners thought differently or the audience reception was poor, but they pivoted again. And over the past 2 seasons, she's gone back to labs and hiding in forests. They've kept 11 weird. Her speech patterns have never been normal. Her acting has never been normal. But clearly the direction they want her character to go. Even her outfits. She's back to wearing gray hoodies that mirror the medical gowns, and she always has her hair shaved again or tightened back again, so it replicates the similar look she had in season 1. She has to be awkward, and she's only, as a character, gotten to live maybe a few months as a normal girl from season 3 into season 4, during which time she was still heavily bullied and ostracized, and sort of like that girl on the playground who would say she's a wolf and start howling at kids. Consider all of that, her time isolated from other normal people, or just living alone in the woods where Hopper would share his opinions on the world. And I want you to consider, does 11 know what a gay person is? Does she understand the concept of homosexuality? I don't think she has any idea what's going on. I don't think she knows how to interpret Will saying he doesn't like girls. When the core cast closest to Will go and give him a hug at the end of the scene, she joins in last and is not ugly crying like the rest of them. She does give him a hug and obviously supports her friend, but she might just kind of be following the other characters in the general mood. I don't think she knows. I also think her opinion is probably easily swayed. When Mike taught her the word mouth breather in season 1, she just started immediately calling people mouth breather as an insult. People could send Eleven down some very strange paths, and I think she would just trust people implicitly. I don't see any world in which Eleven has a normal understanding and acceptance of gay people for a very long time. I don't know what Hopper's told her or what she might casually parrot. So for that reason, we're going to give 11 Stranger Things a D. That brings us to the end of our presentation. Our final tier list is here. Thanks for watching. I want to start making more videos talking about D&D and storytelling and stuff, but this was so funny I couldn't help myself. I make tabletop RPGs. You can check out my work at figpop.com, link in the description. Like and subscribe, I guess. More videos coming soon. Thank you.